Today's question comes from Denya in Florida. She said, I'll be getting married soon to a man who is also previously divorced. We are 55 and 45. He has property that his parents left him that he would like to go to his children upon his death. I don't disagree, but we are struggling with a couple of issues. Is the best way to handle this to have a prenup agreement regarding the property? Also, I struggle with the fact that the place that will be our home doesn't really feel like my home. I worry that I'll spend the rest of my life improving the property only to have zero ownership of it when my husband passes. I am not sure how we deal with both of these things.
Wow.
It's a great question. There's definitely a dilemma here. She wants ownership, but he wants it to go to his children instead of her.
Well, the verbiage that she's using is not greedy and grabbing.
No.
But she makes a valid point. She's only 45 years old. She lives there 30 or 40 years, and they fix up the house with money that's also hers over the years, and then it's all gone.
That feels unfair.
And not only that, he dies, and she's 55 years old, has to move for what's been her home for 10 years at that point, or 15 years, or whatever the number is, right? And so she's got some valid points. Obviously, he does as well. Because this is family property, and he would like it to stay in the family.
His parents left him that property, so that does put it in interesting light. Well,
here's the thing. Okay, here's what's the argument in my mind. It's as if the past is arguing with the future.
It's a good way to put it.
And what are we going to place more value on, this marriage relationship or making sure this house goes to these kids? So I'm trying to think what I would do if I were in his shoes and I had some property, and how do we honor her and take care of her? I'm not sure. A prenup is obviously in order, a will in conjunction with the prenup so that everything is laid out. But I don't know how to make sure she's taken care of if this property turns around and goes to them in terms of A, place to live, and B, recouping. And really, you've got the emotional loss. If she lives in that home 20 years, it's more hers emotionally than it is those kids.
Yeah. And I guess I question why he wants to leave it to the kids, other than this is family property and I want her to stay in the family. But is she not family? That's what she's feeling like.
You know, she's the stepmother. It's the Cinderella syndrome, right?
Yeah.
In that sense, she's not the evil stepmother, but I mean,
to the property, it doesn't seem like it's all that.
You know
special.
what? I think you've got to decide what you value here. What do you value more? He needs to decide. What does he value more? Marriage and the future with this lady. If so, I think they need to go buy another house that the two of them own together, and they can keep this house and rent it, and it can go to the kids.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't live there. I wouldn't make my home there.
It feels weird to choose the kids or the wife. That just feels like it's going to be uncomfortable.
I think if you want to keep the property in the family, but she can't make a home there because it's temporary.
Yeah.
It's never going to be hers, and it's going to affect their relationship. Yeah. So you just can't place the stuff above the relationship. The relationship, we arrange the stuff around the relationship, not the relationship around the stuff. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, it
trying
just
to figure
seems
out
like
what is it you value?
The kids are going to be okay. I mean, you can leave them money. There's a lot of ways to bless the kids, but it feels like this property.
It feels like this house is somewhat up on an idol.
Yeah. It symbolizes something.
Yeah, I'm gonna rent it out, or I'm gonna sell it, and I will leave it to them in the will, and it can be in a prenup. That's fine, no big deal. But I'm not gonna live in it, and I'm not gonna make my future wife, my future life, live there. Besides that, she may not want to live where his other wife was.
That's true. Yeah.
That also can be weird. Whether she passed away or whether it was a divorce, we don't know. But that can be also weird.
There's a lot of ingredients that could create a recipe for resentment here, and that's what I don't want.
Yeah, I'm not living in that house. I'm not living in it. I think that's the answer. That's just me, and I'm trying to figure it. It's a very sticky question.
Yeah, there's no clear answer.
Weird. I don't know exactly what to do with it. It's not. You're right. It doesn't come to mind. You go, oh, that's the answer, but because a prenup doesn't solve her.
No,
it only solves him. A will doesn't solve her. It only solves him. Desires and problem. You could even put in the prenup or in the will that any repairs or improvements done to the home are reimbursed to her upon his death out of the life insurance or something else. So you can make her right financially, but you can't make it right that she lived there for 20 years, it becomes her home, and then it's not.
There's a true emotional
Because she's
component.
not got control of her own home.
Yeah.
And that's just not gonna work for me. Yeah.
It's a valid question.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, thanks for sending that in. That's a wake up call right there. So it's a good idea. Prenups.
Oh, yeah.
In general, we say don't do them.
That's right.
The exception is
if you've got a real high net worth and you've got a lot of assets and things going on, that's where we go, okay, maybe we need to look at this through a different lens.
Yeah, not because of the spouse. In all my years of doing financial coaching, the potential spouse is not the problem. It's their crazy family.
Yes. People
who
are going to be coming out of the
who feel
woodwork.
entitled. Uncle Louis feels entitled because his niece married a wealthy guy, or his nephew married a wealthy lady, whatever it is, right? And so there's weird crap out there in these families, man. And so, and if you just put up a wall and you go, there's a prenup, and you don't get anything. So, and I recommend it just for clarity and for that. Now, I don't recommend a prenup where there's very small assets. I mean, it needs to be an extreme difference. Like one person has almost nothing, one person has $2 million or more, something like that. It's not, like one lady called and said, or emailed and said, that my boyfriend wants a prenup for his classic car.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, don't marry him.
He cares about the car.
He likes his car more than you.
Yikes.
This guy's not marriage material. He's weird. So yeah, that's what I tell my daughter if they come in, or my son if they said no, they want a prenup for this little tiny stupid but $20,000, $50,000 item. That's just silly.
Yeah. So it's got to be, we're talking, a few $1 million in assets, and
Yeah.
they make just an average salary. We want to make sure that those assets are protected from crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And this right here has got a different element to it that is trying to make sure that the family assets are passed through to the kids is all. That's all they were doing there. That's different than I've got to protect my assets from you, that this person marrying you, that kind of thing. We don't really have to protect them from you, George. You're not.
I hope not.
You're not going to.
I'm not a danger to anyone.
You're not a danger.
Not even,
You're
a little girl could take me in a fight, so you're safe. You're safe out there, guys. Don't worry. Oh, man.
Not true.
Thank
Not
you.
true
Thank you
at
for the
all.
vote of confidence.
I've seen you. You're vicious. You're a vicious.
I'm scrappy.
You're scrappy. You're scrappy.
Oh, man.